Och nu, mina damer och herrar, har jag det stora nöjet att för er få presentera kvällens värdinnor. He's my brother.
Thank you. Let's travel back in time to 1984. Hey, so today I want to talk about Frida's Shine. This is her second English language solo album after Something's Going On, and her fourth solo album overall, with 2 Swedish albums being from the 70s. It is also her final solo album in English. Her final album overall so far came in 1996 with Djupa Andetag. From all of these albums, Shine is also the only album that uses one of the songs for its title. Something's Going On is basically only half the title of its lead single, and Djupa Andetag is a lyrical reference to one of the album's songs, Även en blomma. As far as we know, this also happens to be the most prolific period of Frida as a songwriter. She wrote several songs by herself and recorded demos in the Polar studios long before sessions started. Shine was recorded in the spring of 1984 in Paris and was produced by Steve Lillywhite. Frida actually wanted to produce her second album after Something's Going On with Phil Collins again, but as she said in one of the interviews from the time,
he didn't have time to do this album, so 2 years went by and then I had to decide will I or will I not, and then I met with Steve and we decided to make another album.
We also have at least one member of ABBA's studio band on board, which is Rutger Gunnarsson on bass for the songs Shine and Chemistry Tonight. Tony Levin played bass on the other songs, and he also played with Paul Simon and John Lennon. In one of the interviews from the time, the interviewer described the sound of the album as hard rock style. When it comes to the production, this is, as far as I'm aware, one of the common criticisms of the album. While I understand where this is coming from, it is not my criticism. I can see that the harsh 80s production throughout all 10 tracks from the album can seem somewhat monotonous, but my problem with the album as a whole has more to do with how some of the songs are constructed and arranged. Having said that, there are some real highlights on the album too, and the things that are good are really good. Again, this is not a generalization, it's not a fact, this is simply my very personal reflection and standpoint. So I would like to talk all about it track by track and also go into Frida's great promotional campaign and the album's legacy. So sit back, relax and enjoy Shine, which kicks off with a bang and we're right in with its title track. I always love this song, it has fantastic drums, really 80s with echo and punch, gorgeous synthesizers and an awesome guitar solo. We have wonderful self-harmonizing by Frida already at the beginning, and there are also some fantastic falsetto moments, especially on the line Clear in the Midnight Sky, and some other great backing vocals too. Frida's vocals on this track and overall on the album sound vibrant and confident, and to me this is a perfect album opener, strong and powerful. This feeling continues on the next song. One Little Lie has a convincing vocal performance, huge drums and synthesizers, but I'm not so sure about the chorus and the bridge. I really like the verses, so One Little Lie has good elements, but it's just not my favorite song. It was written by Simon Climie and Kirsty McCall. They both also provide backing vocals throughout the album, and Simon Climie even keyboards, synthesizers and harpsichord, while Kirsty McCall was actually Steve Lillywhite's wife. They also co-wrote the later track Chemistry Tonight, and Kirsty McCall co-wrote the next track. And with this next song, The Face, it's basically the other way around. The verses are slightly dull, but the chorus is really great. Again, we have some cool backing vocals and Frida really gives it all with her vocal performance. And the combination between her lead vocals and the backing harmonies are really gorgeous in the final chorus repeats. The song was co-written by Danielle Balavoine, who was a friend of Frida and with whom she recorded Belle the year before, a vocal version of ABBA's Arrival. In return, Frida provided backing vocals for one of his songs in the same year as Shine. Twist in the Dark is such a strange song that I actually quite like it. It has always been a minor favorite of mine. I like the bass on this song, again punchy drums that are all over the entire soundscape. I always thought of the sound on this album as almost Phil Spector-like qualities, you know, his wall of sound, with a good amount of 80s into the mix. And together with Shine, this is one of the few songs where the production from the album works really well and for me benefits the most from it. Also, there's a bit of recitative going on around 2 minutes and 10 seconds of the song, where Frida almost speaks the lines, which we will get again later on the album. And I love the explosive drums at 2 minutes and 45 seconds. In France, The song was actually released as the second single after Shine instead of Come to Me, I Am Woman. That song was used as the B-side. The final song on side A is the first of two very special songwriting contributions to this album. Slowly was written by none other than Björn and Benny. And with that is also the first and only time that three members would work together after 1982 and before Voyage. So basically one of the ladies working together with both Björn and Benny. We did have Agneta recording a demo for the musical Chess in 1983 called Every Good Man, a beautiful recording, but Frida Slowly is the only official collaboration. It's basically their delivery of a song they already promised for Frida's previous album Something's Going On. But they didn't produce it, which I think was one of the reasons why they were reluctant in the first place to give away one of their songs. The fact to have someone else produce it. And it is, for me at least, actually the biggest problem of the song. Which speaks volumes, because we have a song written by Björn and Benny and sung by Frida, but I still don't quite like it. It is a very well written song, Frida's vocals are fine too, but I just don't like how the song is put together and arranged. Overall it's a bit dragging, especially that instrumental bridge, but by no means is it terrible. I'd say it's a nice version, it has great backing harmonies during the chorus and great falsetto during the end. The song was eventually re-recorded the following year by Gemini, produced by Björn and Benny with their vision. Like on the A-side, we have another good opening song for side B with Heart of the Country. We get some more great self-harmonizing during the chorus and verses. I love that long instrumental ending with guitars and synthesizers kind of battling each other, and you just gotta love Frida's laugh at the end. In the UK, it was this song which was chosen as the second single instead of Come to Me, I Am Woman, but it didn't enter the charts. I have some nostalgic connection to this song because of the 1994 compilation The Voice of ABBA, which was my first encounter with the lady's solo material from the 80s. Next up is Come to Me, I Am Woman, which is in fact one of my favorite tracks from the album. It's an atmospheric song with a warm sound, especially because of Frida's great delivery. It's strange, but I almost have no opinion on Chemistry Tonight. I guess it's okay, it's good enough, and to me one of the more curious songs on Shine. Actually, I am very fond of the chorus, and I think it could go on and on. This song was again written by Simon Climie and Kirsty MacColl, together with Peter Glenister, who also wrote the album's final song. And next we have the second very special songwriting contribution to this album. Don't Do It was entirely written by our very own Frida, and as far as I know, was her first songwriting contribution ever. And I think it is one of the shining moments on this album. It's a beautiful song, it really sticks out from the rest, and it feels quite special. Apparently, back in the day, Agneta told one of the ABBA magazines that it was one of her favorites, and she even started singing the song. Maybe someone can shed some light on this, because I wasn't there, but you probably were. And here for me is another finest hour, not only on this album, but to be honest, in Frida's entire legacy. Yes, I love Comfort Me. It's like a lullaby really, with minimizing soundscape, a very spare backing track, and fantastic lead vocals. I love this calm atmosphere, and again there are some moments towards the end where Frida almost speaks the words. I love the reserved but epic sounding drums coming in later. The song overall sounds quite epic, and I love Frida's count-in at the beginning. What a way to end the album, with both of these last two songs really, because we've had so many up-tempo rock songs on it, they sound confident and convictive, and then comes Comfort Me at the very end, where she almost whispers her need for comfort after all. This is a perfect closer to me. Now, before we go on, let's wrap things up and look back at the album as a whole. Because I have the feeling my track-by-track review was kind of positive by and large. And that's the curious thing about Shine for me. I find myself enjoying some songs, some moments from other songs, I can pick them out, but then there are those problems I mentioned in the beginning. Some of the songs don't work as a whole, some verses are weak here, some choruses are weak on other tracks, and even though the production is basically quite consistent, maybe that's also its problem. It's too consistent, almost nothing stands out too much, and as I said, probably makes it too monotonous, to my ears. And so I enjoy some of it, there are even some real highlights, but for me, the album as a whole doesn't quite work. But simply for these discrepancies alone, it is also fascinating in the end. But there are more fascinating things around Shine, so let's talk about other songs from the sessions and this period. Because we do have another song that wasn't released on the album, but as B-side to the Shine single. It is called That's Tough, and is actually a second song written by Frida, this time together with her son Hans, and another co-writing credit from Kirsty MacColl. As far as I understand, this song doesn't get too much love, but to me in fact is one of my big favorites and definitely more than a B-side. It's so strong and great, Frida sounds extremely convincing again, and maybe there are some more Voice of ABBA sentimentalities, but I genuinely feel that this is a fantastic song and recording. And if that wasn't enough, we know that Frida even wrote a third song called I Don't Wanna Be Alone. This track was left unreleased, but it was given to the band FX and released in the same year on their album Push Here. And now it gets interesting. I don't have too many information, but Frida's son Hans was part of this band and wrote all the other 9 songs from the album. But we also have Benny's son Peter here on synthesizer and piano, and the artwork, the coconut part, was designed by none other than Michael Bitretto. It seems this was the only album from this group. Listening to their version of Frida's composition I Don't Wanna Be Alone, the curious thing is that to me the verses are great and the chorus is really strong too, but they just don't fit together in any way. That's just my personal opinion, but I really like both verses and chorus, each on their own. We actually know that there are some more outtakes from the Shine sessions that were mentioned in an early press release. Those song titles are I Am One of God's Children, Can't Be Serious, and When Love Turns to Lies. Judging from those titles alone, they really sound extremely intriguing. We can only continue to hope for some release in the future. We did, however, get some more versions for some of the album's songs. We have an extended mix of Shine that I really enjoy for its extended parts and drum loops, shorter single versions for Shine, Heart of the Country as released in the UK, and a shorter version of Come to Me, I Am Woman, which apparently was only released on the German single. Unfortunately, we didn't get a deluxe treatment for the album so far, as we did for Something's Going On. What I certainly enjoyed was going through all those interviews and performances from another fantastic promotional campaign. In the autumn and winter of 1984, Frida toured extensively through all possible European TV shows to promote the album, mainly performing the 2 singles Shine and Come to Me, I Am Woman to playback. But there are also 2 performances of Twist in the Dark on French TV and Swedish TV, and even one very rare performance of One Little Lie for whatever reason. The biggest highlight from all those performances certainly comes from Swedish TV, where she performed 2 songs with live vocals, Come to Me, I Am Woman and Heart of the Country, and as far as I'm aware, these are the only proper live performances of solo songs from any of the ladies during their solo years in the 80s. Frida shows even on these 2 live performances how strong, warm and crystal clear her voice is. It is a pity she didn't perform her own song Don't Do It somewhere. We also got music videos for Shine and Twist in the Dark, which do have some surreal moments to them and fit quite well to the videos for her previous album Something's Going On. The overall aesthetic of the videos and her TV appearances was quite colorful, as we can already see on the album's artwork and photo session, and Frida was sometimes wearing a pair of gloves. And when I said that the production of the album was a little too coherent, too much of the same, well, they really did exactly that with the design for the album and all those different single releases as well. There really isn't too much variety here. In one of the interviews from the time, Frida was asked about the future of ABBA, and this is what she said.
Det som talar mest för det, nu kan ju bara jag ge min personliga uppfattning om det hela. Det är på något sätt så känns inte kapitlet ABBA avslutat än. Jag har en dröm och det är att vi skulle kunna komma tillsammans igen och spela in ett album.
We can still dream and hope, right? Oh, hang on. 3 weeks to go. Frida was very confident and happy with Shine, and there were even plans for another album in 1985. However, Shine was not the success Frida was hoping for. The best chart position was in Sweden at number 6 and Norway number 10, but nowhere else did it enter the top 20, which was a big difference to Something's Going On. Frida then decided to basically take a break from the music business for several years. In 1987, however, she did collaborate with Ratata for the song Så länge vi har varann and its English version As Long as I Have You, which is a terrific song. In the same year, she was one of 21 female Swedish singers for Benny's big choir piece Klinga mina klockor from his album of the same name. But it was only 5 years later that she returned with 2 new songs, big favorites of mine, which she also performed live in concert for a Swedish environmental gala. This was a big event, especially for ABBA fans who traveled from all over the world for the show. Finally, in 1996, Frida returned to continue her solo career with her 5th album, Djupa under tak, the final one to date, and also back to Swedish language, kind of making it full circle. Now I want to know from you, how do you feel about Frida's Shine? I'm particularly interested in the fantastic stories of those who were there. How did you experience the release back in the day? Also, I am no musical expert and simply try to convey my opinion, but maybe one of you does have some more insight into the genres and styles from this album, or even into the general zeitgeist from this musical period. I hope you enjoyed this little retrospection and assessment, and I'm looking really forward to all your comments. I really like how you all read each other's words, give thumbs ups, and talk amongst each other. You can all express yourself so wonderful and with a respectful attitude. That's just so great. Alright, until then, hey do!